So Project Hope was an idea I came up with one night at the bar. I saw a bunch of people who just looked like they're very depressed with the way that they're living their lives, and they're looking for meaning in just any type of interaction. So I came up with this idea as a reflexive analysis of our everyday lives, and disrupting those habits and patterns, and allowing for critical questioning of how we live our lives. So embodiment of change comes from the individual level. Everyone has the ability to change something, and that comes from even how we deal with a person, even holding a door. It's all about replacing sympathy with empathy. Homelessness. I see people who have a house, they have things that they go home to, but do they really have some place to go to? We see all these people with houses, but they don't have a home. And a lot of people are missing that in their lives. You can feel alone in a crowded room. You could know everyone there. You could be having good conversations, but do you really know everyone? Do you feel like you're a part of that group? And perhaps it's just mental, and perhaps it's just all in your mind. But then I got to thinking, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's social anxiety. Maybe it's something that everybody has. So it's hard to initiate conversations, especially when you go into a new place, and fear plays a huge role. Sympathy is not empathy. Sympathy is really a social affinity in which one stands with another person, closely understanding another person's feelings. This is always done from your own perspective. How you perceive the other person is always done from your own point of view. And this goes to Hume's treatise on human nature. Basically, the individualized reaction to the other in relation to how we view it. That's a very egocentric way of viewing things, and I feel like that actually prevents us from getting to know the other person. We need more empathy in our everyday actions. Empathy is the ability to recognize and share, not just recognize. This is needed before one can be open to compassion with another person. So a recap of empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is understanding our feelings of another in relation to how we see it. It's very individual-centered. So then we start looking at things empathetically, and we understand empathy is sharing and understanding those feelings with another person. It's being with them in their feelings. How we lack empathy in our lives, it's so profound in our daily lives. I see this happening every day. I see people with psychopathic tendencies, from the way we run businesses to the way we run our economic system at times. And part of this project, part of the reason why I came up with this is for breaking down cultural barriers. We have a hard time putting ourselves in the shoes of another person, and we don't really see how our actions affect another person, directly or indirectly. Why would we want that? Well, one of the good things that we can also do is learning by teaching. We can train ourselves by teaching other people. And the only time we actually learn about what we're doing is the second we do that. And the second we do that, we're actually, in fact, perpetuating a system of positivity. And this project is about engaging citizens. It's allowing people to have a say in where and how they live their lives. It's giving them a place to go to. It's combining community engagement with advocacy and understanding. So this is all based around cultural mediation. Anonymity is understanding without knowing. But how can you understand without knowing something? And that's kind of what this project really does. Usually we know things, but we never understand what they actually mean. We superimpose our ideas and our representations of how things ought to be in order to force the content of our thoughts into the form of a mental box. We forget why things are the way they are because we focus on the how and the what. Reasons for this project. It's a development of emotional intelligence, pro-social attitudes and behaviors. It's a development of sense of attachment to the community, and it overcomes self-censorship caused by fear. And the most important part about this project is it starts asking questions. The golden rule, treating others as you like to be treated. This is a good saying, but I usually have a problem with this because what I was talking about earlier, that's only from your own point of view. I would like to extend it a little bit further. It's asking the other person how they would feel, not just trying to impose our values onto somebody else. What is a narrative? It's a storytelling technique one of the earliest forms used as a way of sharing meaning. Project Hope is in itself a narrative. It's a new way of understanding how we relate to others. It's creating or playing with new forms of understanding and perception. It's sharing that understanding with others, and it's engaging in dialogue with other people about this topic. And one of my first project ideas is kind of like a public forum where people can show how they feel when they engage in a public space. This is just one of many projects that I would have come up, but this is pretty good because you can see how other people feel without actually knowing who those people are. So in a sense, you're engaging in a form of anonymity, and you actually perpetuate how others feel in your community too. Sorry.